At this stage in the investigation, which risk control measures should be implemented in the short and long term? Senior management, who have the authority to make decisions and act on the recommendations of the investigation team, should be involved. An action plan for the implementation of additional risk control measures is the desired outcome of a thorough investigation. The action plan should have SMART objectives. SMART means specific, measurable, agreed, and realistic, with time boundaries, time scales. Hello and welcome. Today I'm discussing about the accident investigation process. Step number 4, the action plan and its implementation. As you know, step number 1 was about how to collate and gather information that is related to an accident in a workplace. Step number 2 was about the analysis of gathered information. Step number 3 was about the recommendations of risk control measures as per the information analysis and gathered information. And lastly and finally, this step is about the action plan and its implementation, that how we can effectively implement the controls to avoid reoccurrences, or how we can avoid the accidents to happen again and again. You are on the platform of Safety First, and I'm your host, Javed. If you are new on this channel, kindly subscribe the channel, press the bell icon, and if you find the video informative, then like, comment, and share with your colleagues and friends. Dear friends and fellows, at the final stage of accident investigation process, you have to decide where intervening requires good knowledge of organization and the way it carries out its work. For the risk control measures proposed to be SMART, management, safety professionals, employees, and their representatives should all contribute to a constructive discussion on what should be in the action plan. Not every risk control measure will be implemented, but the ones accorded the highest priority should be implemented immediately. In deciding your priorities, you should be guided by the magnitude of the risk. Risk is the likelihood and severity of harm. Ask yourself, what is essential to securing the health and safety of the workforce today? What cannot be left until another day? How high is the risk to employees if this risk control measure is not implemented immediately? If the risk is high, you should act immediately without any further delay. Otherwise, it might cause another accident in your workplace. You will, no doubt, be subject to financial constraints, but failing to put in place measures to control serious and imminent risks is totally unacceptable. You must either reduce the risks to an acceptable level or stop the work. For those risks that are not high and immediate, the risk control measures should be put into your action plan in order of priority. Each risk control measure should be assigned a time scale and a person made responsible for its implementation. It is crucial that a specific person, preferably a director, partner, or senior manager, is made responsible for ensuring that the action plan as a whole is put into effect. This person doesn't necessarily have to do the work him or herself, but he or she should monitor the progress of the risk control action plan. Progress on the action plan should be regularly reviewed. Any significant departures from the plan should be explained and risk control measure rescheduled if appropriate. Employees and their representatives should be kept fully informed of the contents of the risk control action plan and progress with its implementation. Which risk assessments and safe working procedures need to be reviewed and updated. All relevant risk assessments and safe working procedures should be reviewed after an adverse event, after an accident. The findings of your investigation should indicate areas of your risk assessments that need improving. It is important that you take a step back and ask what the findings of the investigation tell you about your risk assessments in general. Are they really suitable and sufficient? Failing to review relevant risk assessments after an adverse event could mean that you are contravening the Management of Health and Safety at Work Regulations 1999, Regulation 3 of 3, which states that after any adverse event, a risk assessment must be reviewed and updated as per the recommendations of investigation findings and on the basis of immediate, underlying and root causes. You have to look the details of adverse event and the investigation findings being recorded and analyzed. Are there any trends or common causes which suggest the need for further investigation? What did the adverse event cause? In addition to the prompt notification of reportable events to the regulatory authorities, you should ensure that you keep your own records of adverse events, their causes, and the remedial measures taken. This will enable you to monitor your health and safety performance and detect trends, the common causes of adverse events, and so improve your overall understanding and management of the risk. It is also useful to estimate the cost of adverse events to fully appreciate the true cost of accidents and ill health to your business. The step-by-step approach that is set out and discussed in this series of accident investigation procedure. This is only one of a number of possible approaches. It is for you to decide which approach suits your business best. Dear friends and fellows, if you remember, I share a case study. Let us discuss the case study again. In step number 4, Mr. Jamshed hand lacerated in the machine. As I told you in my last video, once you are going to investigate immediate, underlying and root causes, you have to remember 4 P's. P number 1, place or workplace. What was the immediate cause there? That is related to the workplace, not enough space for the job. Once Mr. Jamshed was hurt. Do you know what were the risk control measures recommended? Rearrange machinery to allow access to viewing port. Do you know what were the underlying and root causes related to the workplace? Planning and design of layouts. Risk assessments not adequate. Do you know how we can correct the underlying and root causes? By reviewing risk assessments. Look at safe working access to all areas of machinery for operation and maintenance. Second P is about plant, equipment and substances. What were the immediate causes in the case study? Once Mr. Jamshed hand was lacerated, equipment not suitable for the job, and second immediate cause that was related to the plant, a machine, is equipment not most effective, interlocks of a type easily defeated. Let us discuss what risk control measures are required here. Machine not to be used on aluminium until manufacturer's literature, manufacturer recommendations and instructions checked and adjustments made. Arrange for interlocks to be changed for a better design. All employees to be reminded of need for interlocks. Without interlocks, machine should not be operated or used at any cost. With respect to plant and equipment, what were the underlying and root causes? Number one, risk assessment didn't deal with the use of other materials. Number two, risk assessments not adequate, didn't anticipate violations. Do you know the measures to remedy underlying and root causes in this case? Number one, you have to prepare risk assessment for using machine with aluminium, procedures for use with aluminium to be produced, and instructions and training to the individuals. Number two, review how tamper-proof safety equipment is maintained. Remind workforce of the importance of safety measures and procedures and the importance of business places on health and safety. P number three, processes and procedures. What were the immediate cause? No safe working procedure in place for that specific job. Mr. Jamshed was trying to make maintenance, but he don't know anything about the maintenance and there was no safety procedure available for maintenance. Do you know what risk control measures required? Prepare safe working procedure for working for repairs, locking off and isolation procedures. You have to provide training to the individuals. Those are required to operate or maintain the machine. What was the underlying and root cause specifically linked to the procedure? There was no risk assessment and procedure for maintenance of the machinery. Let us discuss the measures to remedy underlying and root causes. Those were related to the procedures. Third P, update risk assessments and prepare and communicate procedures for reporting of defects, repairs, locking off and isolation. Training, supervision and monitoring is also mandatory. You have to implement the procedures and you have to monitor and supervise your workforce as well as your workplace. P number four, people or workforce that is involved in the operation. What was the immediate cause? Number one, it was the matter of competence, use of equipment, and hazards of job during maintenance were not known. And number two, violation, defeating of interlock guards. What were the risk control measures required? Training in need for interlocks and isolation as well as locking off, training on hazards and accepted use of machine. Secondly, fitless, easily defeated switches, instruction to all operators not to defeat any interlock in any case on the instruction of anyone. Do you know the underlying and root causes with regard to the people or the workforce that was involved in that incident? Again, the competence, training requirements not assessed or delivered. Secondly, there was no control and communication between the supervisory staff and the workforce. What to do here? Ensure all necessary information on machinery is available and training needs are identified and suitable training given to all concerned operators and maintenance crew. Staff to be reminded of need for and consequences of interfering with the safety equipment, levels of supervision and monitoring to be increased. This is the recommendation that was given with respect to people and the fourth step of accident investigation process. Dear friends and fellows, you are watching Safety First. Today, we are discussing about the accident investigation process. Step 4, that is about the action plan and its implementation. Let us discuss now what weaknesses in the overall management of health and safety allowed the underlying and root causes of the adverse event to exist, and we will also discuss the remedial action. Number one, employees not fully aware of management commitment to health and safety. Number two, health and safety assistants not fully competent and resourced. And number three, no clear lines of communication and control, and unclear roles and responsibilities among workers and their supervisory staff. These are the findings, those were identified in the overall management of health and safety. Let us discuss what is the remedial action. Ensure all employees are aware of management commitment to health and safety as set out in our policy statement. In other words, supervisory staff and health and safety assistants, they will communicate the company health and safety policy and commitment statement with the workforce that is involved in the work area or in the project. Secondly, ensure those responsible for preparing risk assessments and safe working procedures and in charge of maintenance are adequately trained and have time to carry out their duties. And number three, ensure all staff aware of their own duties and how they fit into the organization. Their roles and responsibilities must be communicated and clearly understood by all within the organization. Dear friends and fellows, in the action plan and its implementation, the most important thing is which risk control measures should be implemented in the short and long term. First, we must know what risk control measures are needed or recommended in the accident investigation. Number one, replace interlock switch with the tongue type switch that should not be easily defeated, as in the case it was defeated easily. Number two, rearrange machine to allow access to window. Number three, procedures for isolation of machine. Number four, procedures for reporting and repairing defects. Number five, clear allocations of duties, roles and responsibilities with respect to position and category. And number six, review risk assessment. These are the risk control measures. Those were recommended or needed as identified and highlighted during the accident investigation process. Dear friends and fellows, here we have to mention the control measures. As you know, interlocks was the problem. Number one, replace interlocks. Interlocks were defeated. When to replace interlocks before using the machine again? It will be done by home, plants and workshop engineer. Number two, rearrange workshop when it should be done before using the workshop and by whom? Workshop supervisor. Number three, prepare safe working procedures for isolation and reporting and repair and maintenance. When? How much time it need? As per the recommendations of accident investigation, within 2 weeks. By whom? Health and safety engineer. Assess competence and training needs and the delivery of training. Time allocated for training and assessment of competence is 3 weeks. Who is responsible for training needs, training delivery, and the competence assessment? It is done by HSC coordinator and administrator assistant. Number five, prepare and review risk assessments. The time allocation for this subject is 2 weeks. It should be done by HSC engineer and HSC officer within 2 weeks time. Number six, risk assessment For workplace, it should be done by health and safety manager within 30 days. And lastly, risk assessment for machinery. It is also done by health and safety manager within 30 working days. This is the action plan and the time for its implementation. If this is only a paperwork, it will not work in real. It will not be able to stop the accidents to happen again and again. But if it will be implemented effectively, timely, and efficiently, it will definitely work. It will improve the health and safety culture. It will be helpful to restrict the adverse events to happen again and again. Dear friends and fellows, finally, these findings and recommendations shall be communicated to the top management, project director, senior workshop manager, and the senior manager of health and safety department for their information and acknowledgement. Dear friends and fellows, as an HSC practitioner, as a safety officer, as a safety supervisor, or a safety engineer, you have to know how to make accident investigation. What is your role and what is your responsibility? How many phases or stages of accident investigation process? At which step? What is the path? What is the requirement? And what must be your role? In this accident investigation process video series, you have learned all the four stages. Number one, how to gather information. Number two, how to make effective analysis on gathered information. Step number three, how to recommend risk control measures. And finally, step number four is about the action plan and its implementation. I have given you the examples how to initiate control measures, how to give the completion date, and how to make accountable a person who is responsible for the implementation of the action plan that is based on the accident investigation findings and recommendations. And that's all for now. Training session is over now. If you have any question, please ask in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment and share the video with your friends and colleagues. Hope to see you soon with a new HSC tutorial. Till then, take care, good luck, and Allah Hafiz.